Who is the rising star Karim Adeyemi? Well, he's the only player to have ever drawn 3 penalties in the first half of a Champions League match. And he's a super fast striker. Like, super fast. And that speed and ball control has made him an absolute terror for opposing teams, and an undisputed wonder kid. But he's down to earth too. I mean, he really loves the anime One Piece, and he's the child of immigrants, being a Nigerian-Romanian kid born in Germany. He owned his skills on the dusty streets of Ibadan, Nigeria, but he went through academies in Germany too. Some would expect such a kid to take Lewandowski's place on the starting lineup at Bayern, but Bayern had that chance once before, and ultimately, they showed Adeyemi the door. You see, Adeyemi was once a difficult kid, one who hated school and hated the rules. Then he smartened up. And now, some would say, he's truly rewriting the rules of the game. From Nigeria to Romania to Germany. I think we can all agree, Adeyemi is going to make a killer impression at BVB. Hi everyone, welcome to the Footy Girl channel, where this girl talks everything football, or soccer. Today's topic is the acquisition of striker Karim Adeyemi by Borussia Dortmund. I'll be breaking down his past, how his 2021-2022 season went, and answering the burning question of whether or not Karim Adeyemi is a replacement for Erling Haaland. But before we get into all of that, be sure to click the subscribe button and hit the bell if you'd like to see more in-depth football analysis content. So right, let's get into it. Let's talk about how Adeyemi became, well, the Adeyemi that we all know of today. Karim David Adeyemi, BVB's May 10th signing, was born in Munich. The 20-year-old has grown to be 5'11", 150 pounds or 180 centimeters, and 68 kilos. Adeyemi is the product of a mixed relationship, born to parents who both had a rough time when they first arrived in Germany from their respective countries. His father, Abi, is from Ibadan, Nigeria, and came to Germany in his late 20s to play football, but his dreams didn't really pan out the way he imagined them to. He found it hard to find a place at any club due to his age and the presence of racism. So eventually, at the age of 30, he gave up his football pursuits to work odd jobs in Munich. In Munich, by chance, he met another immigrant named Alexandra, a Romani from Brașov, Romania, who also faced discrimination in Germany despite being university educated. Abby and Alexandra bonded over their shared negative experiences and eventually started a relationship, and then they had their son and only child, Karim Adeyemi. When Karim was still very young, Abby shared his passion for football with his son. Karim made many trips to Ibadan as a child, where he played street football with local kids. So, as it turned out, Adeyemi's first touches on a football happened in Ibadan rather than in Munich, as he spent a lot of time in Nigeria as a child. Everyone who watched Adeyemi play football on the streets of Ibadan knew there was something special about Karim as he played some impressive footy. He learned to dribble, confuse opponents with ball trickery, and of course, score goals. And when he wasn't playing against other kids, he still dazzled onlookers as he emulated his idols, Iron Robin and Ronaldinho, by doing ball tricks in the streets. At the young age of 6, Karim did eventually start formal training in football in Munich at TSV Forstenried. However, life in Munich wasn't as fun and carefree as it was in Nigeria. He hated school, but he had to keep up with his assignments in order to be allowed to play football. With the football pitch carpet in his room and his dog as his best friend, home was a safe space for Adeyemi, unlike the DFB certified Walter Klingenbeck school he eventually attended, which fed talent directly to Bayern Munich. On the surface, the school was everything a boy like Adeyemi would have dreamed of, as it is located in Munich's Taufkirchen Sports and Leisure Park, a place with a wide variety of sports facilities. But Adeyemi preferred to focus on football over his education and progress as a player more than a student. Eventually, Bayern noticed his talents, and joining their ranks was the obvious next step for the Bavarian-born talent. So, Adeyemi joined Bayern Munich's youth squad, and naturally, he became one of the most talented and fastest boys at Bayern. But because he didn't like school, he didn't connect with other students or relate to them. Social interaction was challenging for him. What's more, the trainers and leadership at Bayern didn't even try to understand him. Adeyemi said Bayern showed little support to players who strayed from the plan. The collective, rather than individualistic talents, was prioritized. He and Bayern were simply not a good match at the time. Because of that, Bayern ended up releasing Adeyemi at the age of 10 in 2012. But with his parents' support, he persevered and ended up moving to the club Unterhaching, where his mother worked, which for him was a leg into the club and was an opportunity for him to have a fresh start. And a fresh start he had. His time at Unterhaching ended up being foundational to who he is as a player today. Adeyemi was guided by determined mentors at the club like President Manfred Schwabel and coach Marc Unterberger. Schwabel, former Germany international, gently guided Adeyemi to participate at school and on the pitch. Schwabel made a deal with Adeyemi that he'd be banned from playing football if he didn't do his homework. Adeyemi agreed, but had to follow through as the president called his teachers to make sure assignments were done. The deal worked, and Adeyemi's interactions with his classmates improved. Marc Unterberger said, "We never wanted to change him completely, and I think we succeeded quite well. Karim is a really great guy and a great person. Until the time Karim came to us, we had never had such an exceptional player in our youth division." Adeyemi did well at Unterhaching, which earned him a place on the team for the Germany under-16s and the under-17s. Over time, Adeyemi's improvements as a player and growth into a young man with a better attitude garnered attention from larger clubs. And eventually, Adeyemi outgrew Unterhaching, and with Schwabel's help, he ended up planning a move abroad. The move out of Germany might have been to London, but he passed on Chelsea to join RB Salzburg. Initially, Adeyemi joined RB Salzburg feeder club Liefering, which was the plan from the start. Liefering, I think that's how you say it. Liefering. This is an important point of Adeyemi's history for the folks that think that he and Haaland ever had some sort of competition at Salzburg. While Adeyemi was playing for Liefering, Haaland was actually on the senior team at Salzburg during the 2019-2020 season, the only season that he was playing there. So actually, Adeyemi and Haaland hardly ever crossed paths. During his time at Liefering, Adeyemi scored an impressive 15 goals and provided 8 assists. In 2019, right before his first season on the senior team at Salzburg, Adeyemi won the Fritz Walter Medal as the brightest under-17 player of the year. This is the same award that Timo Werner, Mario Götze, and future teammate Emir Can won. He also became the youngest player to score for RB Salzburg in the Champions League at the age of 18 years and 318 days. These accolades seemed to have kickstarted a couple of silverware-studded years at Salzburg. During the 2020-2021 season, Adeyemi won the Austrian Bundesliga and Austrian Cup Championship with Salzburg. He also won the 2021 Under-21 Championship with Germany. I think it's important to note that Adeyemi is quite fit. Since 2018 up until now, 2022, he's only missed a total of 6 games. And this physical fitness, of course, in tandem with his prowess on the field, helped him have an incredible 2021-2022 season. In the Champions League, Adeyemi established a new competition record when he drew 3 penalties in the first half of a game against Sevilla. The first half of that matchday 1 group stage game was quite entertaining. Sevilla's Diego Carlos fouled Adeyemi and conceded a penalty. However, at the 13th minute, Adeyemi missed it. Then, Jesus Navas fouled Adeyemi again, but this time Zusic took the penalty and converted on the 21st minute. Then, for the 3rd time, Adeyemi was fouled, this time by Bono. Again, Zusic took the penalty, but missed on the 37th minute. Ultimately, the game ended 1-1, but interestingly, Sevilla's Rakitic scored at the 42nd minute, and, you guessed it, it was a penalty goal. Later on in the competition, Adeyemi was reunited with childhood club Bayern Munich, but unfortunately, Salzburg lost against them during the round of 16. However, Adeyemi played relatively well during both legs. The second leg was quite embarrassing though for RB Salzburg as they lost to Bayern Munich 7-1. Although Salzburg didn't make it in the Champions League, the team and Adeyemi had a pretty good 2021-2022 season overall. Adeyemi won the Golden Boy trophy as well as the Austrian Bundesliga. In fact, Adeyemi was the top goal scorer during the season with a total of 19 goals. Adeyemi also won the Austrian Cup with Salzburg for a second year in a row. Additionally, Adeyemi was called up to the German national team for the first time during the 2021-2022 season. To add to his interesting records, he became the first German playing in Austria to earn a cap since before the Second World War. Adeyemi managed to score a goal during his debut against Armenia as well. He came on as a late sub and scored the last of 6 goals Germany bagged during that game. Of course, one of the highlights of Adeyemi's 2021-2022 season was his transfer to BVB for $33 million. Despite being courted by the likes of RB Leipzig, PSG, Barcelona, and old club Bayern Munich, ultimately Adeyemi chose BVB because he was convinced by former BVB and former Salzburg coach Marco Rose to join the club. Adeyemi said, "I heard many good things about the coaching staff. We had an open conversation. He really wanted me in Dortmund. Because of that, I am headed there with a very good feeling." And so, at the end of the 2021-2022 season, Adeyemi had a signed contract with Borussia Dortmund. This is very similar to what happened at the end of the 2019-2020 season when another young striker signed a contract with BVB. Who was that? Yes, the guy that so many people have been comparing to Adeyemi, Erling Haaland. Right, but I would like to tell everyone who is watching this video something very, very important, which I've mentioned earlier already. They are not the same. Adeyemi and Haaland are not the same. Adeyemi was not signed to slot into the giant Norwegian's position and play just like him. Yes, they're both left-footed. Yes, they both played for RB Salzburg. Yes, Haaland was sold to Man City the same day Adeyemi was sold to Borussia Dortmund, but they are not the same. They are not even similar. To summarize their very different playing styles in a sentence, Adeyemi is the star of driving defensive lines crazy with his insane dribbling, and Haaland is great at ball poaching and going straight for goal and taking killer shots on goal. They are not similar. They do not have similar playing styles, so I do not know why they continue to be compared. I mean, really, Adeyemi and Haaland are as different as their physical appearances are. Essentially, making a one-to-one comparison between Adeyemi and Haaland is a bit of a false equivalency. Even Adeyemi has echoed his frustration with this inaccurate one-to-one comparison. It is similar to how it was here in Salzburg when I was new to the team. Once again, it was Erling Haaland, and people thought I was his successor, but I can rule that out because I am a completely different player. Naturally, Borussia Dortmund have pegged a replacement for Haaland, who, you know what's interesting about this Haaland replacement? His name also starts with an H, followed by an A. Who is that? Who am I thinking of? Haaland. I remember, guys. Haller. Sebastian Haller. Yes, I am working on a video about him too. But anyway, back to Adeyemi and Haaland. Although one should not compare apples to oranges, let's see how these two stacked up against each other last season. We'll be reviewing the following criterion suitable for evaluating a striker or forward skills. Offense. How many goals did they score? Shots did they take? Assists did they give? Penalties did they score? And pressures did they apply? Accuracy. How many passes did they finish? Progressive carries did they complete? And progressive passes did they receive? Speed. How fast are they? Ball control. How many dribbles did they complete? And how many touches did they have within the penalty area? Discipline. How many fouls did they commit? And cards did they receive? And finally, durability. What were their injury stats? All the stats I'll present here are from all domestic competitions in each respective league that each player participated in, as well as the Champions League. Also, for additional context, Haaland had 29 appearances during the 2021-2022 season, while Adeyemi had a total of 43 appearances. During the 2021-2022 season, Karim Adeyemi scored a total of 23 goals, 19 in the Austrian Bundesliga, took 82 shots on goal, provided 8 assists, scored 6 penalties, and applied pressure to the defense a total of 16 times per 90 minutes played. On the other hand, Erling Haaland's stats were quite impressive here. He scored 27 goals, 20 within the German Bundesliga, took 100 shots on goal, provided 8 assists as well, scored 8 penalties, and applied pressure a total of 12 times within a 90-minute period. Winner, Haaland. Last season, Adeyemi completed 56% of his passes. As for progressive carries, or movement of the ball within 5 yards of the goal for every 90 minutes played, Adeyemi completed 6. And finally, for progressive passes received, completed passes within the penalty area 10 yards outside of goal, Adeyemi received 10.5 successfully. As for Haaland, his pass completion rate was noticeably better than Adeyemi's at 70%. However, he only completed 3 progressive carries for every 90 minutes and only received 8.6 passes within the penalty area for every 90 minutes played. Winner, Adeyemi. During his career, Adeyemi has clocked speeds up to an impressive 34 kilometers an hour. Adeyemi is fast, really fast. The forward says he has clocked 3.6 seconds doing a 30-meter sprint, a sprint that not even world record holder Usain Bolt can match. The Jamaican icon was measured at 3.78 seconds for the first 30 meters of his record-setting 100-meter dash. But Haaland is incredibly fast too. In fact, slightly faster than Adeyemi. He's clocked speeds up to 36 kilometers an hour. However, both of these guys are relatively comparable in terms of their speed, so I think they're pretty even here. Tie. For every 90 minutes of play, Adeyemi completed 1.5 dribbles and 6.5 touches in the penalty area. Haaland, however, completed 0.6 dribbles, but 7.5 touches in the pen area. So, as one can see, Adeyemi has better ball control and dribbling skills outside of threatening areas. However, Haaland is more likely to scoop up the ball in the pen area and subsequently score a goal. Although these guys are both strikers, considering their styles of play, I would say that this one is pretty equal. Tie. Last season, Adeyemi committed a total of 40 fouls and received 6 yellow cards. As for Haaland, he essentially only committed half the number of fouls at 23 and earned half the number of yellow cards at 3.
Important to note that during the 2021-2022 season, neither player received a double yellow or straight red card.
Winner, Haaland. During the 2021-2022 season, Adeyemi missed a total of 29 days, but only 2 games due to quarantine related to COVID, tonsillitis, and a hamstring injury. On the other hand, Haaland missed 95 days and a whopping 16 games due to muscular problems and a pesky hip flexor issue. Winner, Adeyemi. Overall winner, tie.
All in all, both had great 2021-2022 season. To summarize, Haaland is the cleaner player. However, he's quite injury prone, particularly for his age. As for Adeyemi, although he had a solid season, he needs to improve his first touch and finishing skills. Now that we've compared the two using quantitative data, let's dig deeper into the qualitative data and explore what makes these two pretty different from each other. The first thing that I think distinguishes Adeyemi from Haaland is his experience. Of course, Adeyemi is slightly younger than Erling Haaland, but I think Adeyemi has been through quite a bit more than Haaland. Adversity is what made Adeyemi stronger at a very young age. He would have been completely written off due to, his behavior at school. However, he persevered and beat all of the odds to become a top player.
As for Haaland, he has a pro footballer, his father Alfie, as a close mentor. Yes, Abby was a footballer, but Alfie Haaland actually made it. Erling, because of that, does have a level of privilege that Adeyemi didn't have. And Adeyemi persevered after being kicked out of Bayern's academy. Haaland hasn't sometimes always displayed a high level of mental strength during Dortmund's most frustrating times. Despite leaning into mind-calming techniques such as meditation, as seen by Haaland's former goal celebration, his seated Buddha, sometimes Haaland has essentially thrown fits on the pitch out of frustration.
I'm so pissed now, you have no idea.
So I would say that coming from humbler beginnings has made Adeyemi's mental game perhaps a bit stronger than Haaland's. Now, don't get me wrong, there was a lot for Haaland to be angry about in recent seasons at BVB, given how poorly some of his colleagues were playing. And generally, although he does have an air of entitlement sometimes, I love Haaland as a player and as an individual. He's extremely passionate and cares for his fans. And the guy is hilarious. I mean, have you seen his interviews?
What's your secret? You scored 10 times now in the Champions League.
Hard work.
What else? Smoothie.
Yeah, also enjoy. Whoa, we're close now.
Are you going to sleep lonely tonight?
Yeah.
Another main point that I think makes Adeyemi and Haaland different is, of course, like I've mentioned earlier, their playing styles. Adeyemi is less of a true finisher and doesn't really run too deep into the pitch. Instead, he tends to want to agitate the defense at or in the box and stay up front, stay higher. Haaland, on the other hand, is a true number 9 and can also fall into more of a false 9 position. Let's take a look at that.
As a traditional number 9, Haaland is able to use his speed to beat the opposing defense and go directly for goal. And as a false 9, a strategy which does not require a lone striker for the attacking midfield to feed to, Haaland is able to make deep runs into the field in order to agitate and distract the defense. This allows the other attacking players to run forward and receive the ball. As for Adeyemi, he's known to play a few more forward positions than Haaland: a lone striker or number 9, a forward behind the striker or number 10, or a forward on the left or right side. So Adeyemi would be a great player to use in order to drive rather than finish an attacking play. Heat maps from Adeyemi and Haaland's last season really confirm their differing playing styles. As you can see, Haaland tends to run deeper, and Adeyemi tends to stay much higher than Haaland.
On that note, let's explore the positions Adeyemi is most likely to play in at BVB. Now, if you'd like to see full permutations, please check out my Zula and Schlotterbeck video, because in that video, I outlined 4 great permutations BVB can use, which include Zula, Schlotterbeck, Özcan, and Adeyemi. But here I'll be focusing on the front lines and the positions that Adeyemi can play in tandem with other forwards or attacking players already at BVB. I'll be reviewing how Adeyemi could play as a number 10 or a left or right forward player. I will show a few ideas and a few permutations, but not every single possible combination, so please do not come for me if you don't see every single combo that can be used currently at BVB. I did, however, include a certain striker who is most likely to be signed by the time you're viewing this video.
As a number 10, Adeyemi can pull opposing defenders out of position higher up in the field. Then, he could serve as a link between the attacking midfield and other forwards, which is a role BVB so desperately needs to fill. He could feed the lone striker, who would likely be the one to pull off the finish. All in all, I think this is a great position for Adeyemi, as he's proven time and time again that he is great at creating chances. Since Adeyemi has the stamina to keep the tempo high during attacks and the work rate to be able to deputize as both a striker and an attacking midfielder when needed, playing Adeyemi as a second striker would be perfect. Where a number 9 would be played in front of a pair of forwards, he can serve as either the left or right forward, who can choose to either distract the defense or, again, join the attack, go for goal, or pass the ball on.
Oh, which position do I prefer Adeyemi in? Well, honestly, I like him as both a number 10 or a left-right second striker. He's played both positions before. I think he, given his speed and his great dribbling, but not so good first touch and finishing, which of course he can work on, and he can, eventually deputize as a traditional number 9 or even start to play as a number 9. But I think Adeyemi, as he is today, would be the perfect number 10. And because BVB, like I said, has likely signed a certain Allier, by the time you watch this video, he'll be wonderful at just killing it in the midfield, being essentially, a link between the attacking midfield and the front of the line of the attack. It's really getting the ball in there, causing headaches, causing havoc, pulling the defense apart, and then stringing the ball to a more traditional number 9 player. So that's what I'm excited to see Adeyemi do, and I think this is just a wonderful signing for BVB. They really needed a solid crazy attacking player who is fluid and who could really play into BVB's passing game. And I think they have that in Adeyemi. So to summarize, I think Adeyemi is an incredible talent. He has all the qualities to become one of the best attacking players of this generation. And I think if BVB could really help him grow and come into himself even more, I mean, he's only 20 years old. 20 years old. He's got several seasons at BVB if that's the way things turn out. I think he actually even has the potential to pass some of his contemporaries like Jamal Musiala.
Like Luffy D. Monkey, the main character in Adeyemi's favorite anime One Piece, Adeyemi is fearless and genuine. The fame hasn't gotten to his head. He's still down to earth and even started the Karim Adeyemi Foundation in Nigeria to help poor youth in Ibadan. He's also open to connecting with his Nigerian roots and certainly hasn't abandoned them since becoming more famous.
Sọ fún mi, ta ni Karim Adeyemi?
Agbábọ́ọ̀lù Red Bull Salzburg àti Germany.
Na sehr
Another thing which keeps Adeyemi's feet on the ground is that he's aware that he's got some growing to do. And unlike his younger self, he's willing to really get in there and do the work.
According to German national team coach Hansi Flick, Karim has shown he can be ice cold in front of the goal and that he plays with lots of self-confidence. He's still got lots of work to do, but he does his thing very well. But someday, we might see Adeyemi return home to Munich and play for Bayern. But it's not clear if he'll ever have a soft spot for his childhood club again. BVB fans will want to keep Adeyemi at Dortmund for as long as they can anyway.
Hopefully Teresic and the rest of the coaching staff and the trainers can really turn Adeyemi from wunderkid to future legend, especially as BVB tries to contend against Bayern Munich this coming season and in future seasons for the domestic title. So that was all about Borussia Dortmund signing Karim David Adeyemi. So what do you guys think? Do you think Adeyemi is going to be the rock star folks think for BVB? Or do you think that he's going to turn out to be a flop? And really live up to the low expectations, or maybe should I say the non-expectations that Bayern Munich had for him when he was still a really young kid. Yeah, I'd be really excited to see what you guys think and to see your take on this signing and how he'd link up with other players that have already signed with BVB. Of course, BVB have one of the wildest summer transfer seasons that I've seen in years. Yeah, I'm excited about Adeyemi. I mean, gotta represent Nigeria, fellow Nigerian here, and so I'm super excited to see what this young man's gonna accomplish in the future. So if you enjoyed this video, again, please subscribe, hit the bell, hit the like button, leave a comment, show me some love, and also be sure to follow me on all of my socials. I'm on Twitter, Instagram, and also TikTok. So I'll see you there, and I'll see you here in the next video. Bye!